Hello Primary 4. Now today we're going to look at division again, but division extended a little bit and division with remainders, but looking at the division sum, which we've got here, which is 42 divided by 3, but looking at the 40, separating the number that you're dividing into tens and units. Okay, so we've got 4 tens and we've got 2 units. So what we have to do first of all is to look at the tens and to separate it into 2 separate division sums. So 4 divided by 3, okay, is, if we look down here at the 3 times table, so 4 divided by 3, we can't go above 4, so we have to stick, 4 probably sits around here on the number line. So we have to say, right, okay, we go back to 3, so 3 divided by 3 is 1, and there's a remainder of 1, okay, so we write our answer on top. Now, instead of writing R1, we have to carry the remainder to the units, and we're going to make the unit 12. Okay, so I'm going to add in 1 and move it into here to beside the 2 to make it 12. All right, so then we look at the units, which is we've got 12 units, and we say 12 divided by 3. Now 12 divided by 3, have a look along the 3 times table, and you can see that 3 can be divided equally into 12 4 times. So you write your answer above the line, okay, and place it in the units column. So your final answer is 14. So 42 divided by 3 makes 14. So you split the 42 into tens and units. You divide the tens first, and if there's anything to carry, you add it onto the units, and then you divide the units by the divisor. Okay, so the next problem is 35 divided by 2. So 3 divided by 2, so you've got 30 divided by 2 is there, if you look down at the 2 times table. So because it's 3, we can't go above it. So 3 sits in between the 2 and the 4. So we go back to 2. Okay, so 2 divided by 2 is 1. And I want you to remember that if you divide any number by itself, for example 2 divided by 2, or 3 divided by 3, or 4 divided by 4, the answer is always 1. You can only make one set out of 2 divided by 2. Okay, so we write an answer on top, which is 1, and we want to show our remainder and add it to the units. Okay, so we add the units here to make the units 15. So 15 divided by 2, if we look along the 2 times table, right the way up to past 12 and past 14, and 15 would sit in between the 14 and 16. So remember, you can't go above it, so we go below. So how many 2s can be divided equally into 14? And your answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so your answer is 7. And you have to count from 14 to 15 to find your remainder. So it's remainder 1. So your answer is 7. We add the 7 on top, and then we want to add the R. So we're going to add the R for remainder, or the for remainder, and we're going to add that here, and then remainder 1. Okay, so that's your final answer. So your final answer is 17, remainder 1. Okay, now one last trick to remember is that if you're not sure about how to work out your remainder, okay, so if we look back at this sum, so we say, okay, 2 times 7 makes 14. So we can add 14 to underneath here, and we say 15, take away 14, makes 1, and that's quite an easy way to find your remainder if you're finding hopping along on the number line quite tricky. Okay, so try out the sums today, and just remember to split your tens and your units. So you divide into your tens first and then your units, and you may or may not have a remainder at the very end of the sum.